Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be showing you the KRISS Vector AEG. We're going to be disassembling it and showing you what the internals are like. First, we're going to start by removing the pin that holds the folding stock to the receiver of the gun. Then, removing the stock, make sure that the magazine is unloaded from the gun. And then, we're going to remove the receiver pins. So that we have this screw right here. Starting with this screw at the bottom, unscrew the Phillips head on one side of the pin. Punch out both pins at the bottom of the receiver. Of the KRISS Vector. So there's that pin, there's that pin. By removing both of these pins at the bottom of the receiver, you can remove the spring guide and spring. If you need to replace the spring, you can do so from here. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to go to the other side and then knock out the rest of the pins. So next, we're going to continue by removing more of the receiver pins. Next, we're going to remove the rail section on the side of the Vector by using the Allen key. Undo that. Next, you're going to pull downwards on the lower receiver of the KRISS Vector and pull the upper receiver up. This will separate the gearbox and lower receiver from the upper. So now we're going to take this Allen key. And next, undo all of the Allen keys attached to the lower receiver. Screws. Okay. All of that is removed, and then now we need to focus on the screw right here. And undo the Phillips head screws toward the front near the barrel. Next, undo the Allen keys next to the bolt catch. And remove the bolt catch assembly. Then from here. And from there, you can push upwards on the outer barrel, sliding the gearbox and outer barrel assembly out from the lower receiver. Remove the plastic tappet connector piece on the side of the gearbox. And then we need to remove these two pieces right here and right here. Using your Phillips head screwdriver, unscrew the two retaining plates that hold the charging handle in place. And lift the charging handle out. Right here. Next, we're going to remove the bracket for the motor using our Phillips head screwdriver. After removing both of these screws, we can rock out the motor bracket. And from there, we'll use a pick to undo both of the motor connections to the motor itself. And from there, we can remove the motor. Okay. Now let's focus on the barrel screws. Next, we're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew the two screws that hold the outer barrel assembly in place. And then sliding the outer barrel out of the lower receiver assembly. And then from there, the inner barrel assembly and hop-up unit will slide out through the bottom. Yeah, this is the gearbox. This is a gearbox. And what you are left with is the gearbox by itself. Okay. So now we're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver and undo all of the remaining Phillips head screws. And after removing these screws, we can then open the gearbox up. Okay, so you have your... Inside we can see the internals of the AEG Vector, including the 8mm steel bushings, the Krytac steel CNC cut gears, also featuring the Krytac MOSFET trigger unit. The piston itself is a polycarb piston reinforced with 4 steel teeth. We have a cylinder that is aggressively ported for the small barrel length of the vector. The cylinder itself is a normal AEG cylinder, but we do have the proprietary cylinder head attached to a normal AEG nozzle. The cutoff lever is a proprietary cutoff lever. Reassembling the gearbox, you're going to slide the top half of the gearbox back onto the lower half, making sure that all of the gears and notches are lined up.
There we go. Screw, screw. Screw, screw. Screw, screw. Screw, screw.
And then we are going to reattach our Phillips head screws into the gearbox.
Let's do the barrel first.
And then we're going to slide the hop-up chamber and inner barrel back up into the gearbox.
Outer barrel.
And then slide our outer barrel into the gearbox, pushing it down and screwing in the Phillips screws on the sides to reattach the outer barrel. And this external plastic part actually helps the gun feed. What it does is that it connects the tappet plate itself to the air nozzle. The tappet plate itself is proprietary, and it helps attach via this external linkage to the air nozzle, which moves back and forth feeding the gun. So when the tappet plate goes backwards, it pulls this linkage back, which then connects to the air nozzle, which pulls the air nozzle back. It's very important to remember to replace this plastic piece so that your gun will feed.
Let me put the screw back on. Screw and assemble. Okay, that's all there.
Next, we'll be replacing the motor. There is a positive sign on the gearbox to show you which way to orientate the motor.
Motor goes in. Make sure to route the wiring.
Next, we're going to reattach our wires and route them through the gearbox itself.
It runs itself around and up. And then you'll plug in the motor connections here and here.
After reconnecting our motor, we're going to put the motor bracket back on and rescrew in the Phillips head screws that hold that bracket to the gearbox.
Then take your screws, back in there.
Next, we're going to put our charging handle back in and reattach the brackets that hold the charging handle in place via our Phillips head screws.
The brackets that hold it in place. So there's this bracket, and there is this bracket. Okay, now making sure that this piece is back on there.
So next we're going to make sure that this little lever that works with the bolt catch is facing outwards of the receiver. This will help make sliding the gearbox and outer barrel assembly into the low receiver much easier.
For you to slide your...
And from there, we're going to take that little lever that we pushed outside of the body back in.
Press it back into place.
Then after that, we can start reattaching our Allen key screws. On both sides of the gun. Next, we're going to put our bolt catch paddle back into the lower receiver and reattach the Allen key screws that hold that in place. Next, we're going to take the screw that holds the spring for the charging handle and place it back inside through that spring into the lower receiver.
A screw.
Line it up with the hole and screw it back into place. Next, we're going to reattach our rail section on the right side of the gun. Now we're going to slide our upper receiver back onto our lower receiver, making sure that the tabs for the electronics line up and mesh correctly together. And now we can start by reinserting all of the body pins that we took out previously. And then next we're going to put the spring back on the spring guide, and then put the spring guide back into the body, making sure that everything is lined up and even, pushing the body pins back through, and remembering to reattach the screw to the one side of the pin.
That pin, and then we're going to take our special pin with the screw threads on it. I'm going to push it through. We're going to take this nut and this screw on top of it. Tighten that down. And we're going to take the...
And lastly, we're going to reattach the stock, make sure all the holes line up, and then push the pin back through the stock.
Pin through that.
Do a quick functions check to make sure our dust cover works and charging handle works, and you're set to go.
Now we're all back together.